So hello and welcome to another video. I'm pretty excited to get going. I've not fished this lake for a long time, although I've only fished it a couple of times in the past. I fished it once in the winter and once in the spring last year, and both of them sessions was really good. Now, I fished this swim back in February last year, and to be honest, I found the fish in the margins, and with it being such a small lake here, you know, the least amount of disturbance you can make is better on here. It is a very busy day ticket lake, as well as night anglers, and there's lots of people coming and going continuously on here, so it really pays if you can, you know, come well back from the water and bivvied well back from the water, you know, no mallets in sight. And I'm going to keep everything as low-key as possible. My plan is just to fish solid bags. I might introduce a little handful of bait later on, but we'll see. I just want to assess the situation and see what other anglers are putting in. But you know, I can really use them other anglers in my favour. Especially on waters like this, fish are very aware of the surroundings, so if you can be quiet and let everybody else make the disturbance, you know, sometimes that can bring the fish towards you. Well, it certainly did last time I was here anyway. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can make that happen. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling on because I need to get them rods out there, and we'll have a bit of a catch up later once we're sorted. Well, that is it. The rods are out there. They've been out for an hour or two now, and things are looking pretty good. Condition wise, for the duration of the session, all is pretty positive. At the moment we've got a low pressure in, it's down into the 990s at the moment, but we could just do with a little bit of cloud cover. However, cloud cover is coming in this afternoon, and that's going to remain for the duration of the session. The air pressure is going to rise slightly. It's creeping up to just over the thousands, sort of around 1004, 1006. So all in all, it's pretty good, and there's a bit of wind coming in with that, 20 to 30 mile an hour wind. So very good conditions for this time of year. It's the last few days of January now. It is going to drop very cold tonight. I say very cold because we have had quite a mild spell for this time of year. And sort of yesterday and today and tomorrow, it's sort of lows of 2 degrees at night. And highs of like 6 and 7 in the daytime. So I'm feeling really positive with the conditions that we're faced with, and it is a very good swim, this. Originally, when I was thinking about coming here, it was the big mirror that I had on my mind. I seen that was caught on YouTube by Gareth Crompton back in autumn time, and it was very, very close to that £40 mark. And in my mind, I'm thinking that could be £40 now. So that was what was on my brain when I was thinking about coming here. But upon arriving, I was speaking to a couple of guys that are fishing, and there's a guy fishing for pike, and he told me that that fish come out a couple of weeks ago, and yes, it set a new lake record and a first 40 for this place. Yes, it was out at just over £40. So it's not looking like that fish will be on the cards for me. But for those of you that are watching this that are not familiar with this lake, it's not very big. It's about 3 acres in size. In fact, it used to be 2 lakes, this. It used to be 2 small lakes. But what they've done, they've sort of like cut in between them. So it's created a spit. It is a lake view now. And the bit that you're looking at there, what I've just highlighted, that's where they cut the section out to make it all one lake. So it kind of divides the lake into 2. But at this time of year, it is predominantly this side of the lake where majority of the fish tend to hang out. This is the deepest part and the main bowl of the lake. And fish stock wise, I'm not too sure on the actual fish stock. The thing that I've looked at, which I'm interested in, is how many big fish are in here. And I am told that there's 6 fish over the £30 mark in here. And for a lake of this size, you know, that's a good stock of fish, and the big one going just over 40 now. But there's some really lovely old character fish in here. A lot of the fish that are in here, you know, it's from the original stocking. I don't know if any new fish have been added, but certainly the fish that I've had from here have all been character fish, and have all got stories to tell. I mean, it started off as a float fishing place, this, you know, a pleasure angler lake, and the fish have just grown on until eventually it is what it is today. And there's quite a few 20-pounders in here as well. So you know, it's a great lake to come on, especially for me. I love coming on places like this during the winter, you know, where there's a good stock of fish and there's a chance of a bite. So that's why I'm sitting here now. Now, tactics wise, I've not changed a lot since my last session on St John's. I'm fishing solid bags on both rods. I'm going to keep the baiting very, very light. In fact, the spot that I'm fishing to the left hand side of me, it's a known spot. That it's an overhanging tree, and it's got a really deep margin there, and that is renowned for doing quite a lot of fish, that spot. And certainly for me, I mean, I've fished here twice now on this lake, and I last fished in this swim back in February last year, and I had 2 fish off of that spot. And what you need to do is you just need to be clipping them branches, getting as close to that snag as you can, and it's about 4 to 5 foot deep there. And what I'm going to do with that rod, I'm not just going to rely on the solid bag on that. I'm going to walk round there, because you know, you can walk round and bait up by hand. And I'm going to put a little bit of bait in, not a lot. I'm talking probably half a scoop full. I'll probably just get a bit on the end of the scoop and just flick bits in here, there and everywhere in the general area, and then fish the solid bag over the top. I don't want to put a lot of bait in. And my mix, what I'm going to be putting out there, it is predominantly corn and LM94 boilie crumb, but there's a few maples in there, there's some groats and a little bit of hemp. There is a little bit of LM94 food syrup, but not a lot, just a sprinkling really, and there's a little bit of lake water added to that as well. I wanted to keep it, you know, sort of water soluble. I don't want any high oils in there. You know, I want something that they can take in and pass quickly. As you know, carp, their metabolisms shut down this time of year, and you don't want to be putting a lot of bait in. You certainly don't want to be fishing them high proteins and high fatty baits. And hook baits of choice, I'm fishing the same on both rods at the moment. I'm fishing the banana and pineapple, they're both 12mm. And my right hand rod, that's gone out on a solid bag as well. At the minute it's fishing at 13.5 wraps. It's fishing towards the car park swim. There's a white sign there, that's what I'm aiming at, and there's a big gravel area there. I have had a bite off of that spot before, although I didn't land it. I have had a bite off of that spot before, but I'm not going to put any free offerings around that rod. My idea being is I want to watch the water and you know, and use that rod as a roamer. I'm going to keep that spot, you know, the overhanging tree, that's my banker spot. I'm going to stick to that spot for the duration of the session, and then my right hand rod, I'm going to use that as a roamer. So that's the reason why I wanted a solid bag on there, because that gravel spot that I'm fishing over there, you know, in an ideal world a mesh stick and lead clip system would be better, but I can put a solid bag anywhere and be presented, especially in here. There's not a lot to go at feature wise. There's a little bit of weed here and there and twigs and leaves, and there's a bit of silt, there's a few gravel areas. It's sort of an average depth in front of me of around 8 to 10 foot. But certainly from them last two previous sessions that I've done on here, it's very strange. You hardly see anything in the daytime. I mean, especially this time of year, it's like the fish are conditioned into angling pressure. Because there's a lot of day anglers that come on here, and there's a lot of commotion going off in the daytime, them fish just seem to hide away. And then as soon as the light dropped, it was like somebody flicked a switch and the lake just comes to life. So, you know, I'm kind of sitting here expecting that to happen on this session. It certainly did them two sessions. I mean, I'm sure that changes through the year as the year goes on. I've never seen this place in bloom in the summer or anything like that. But certainly from what I know and seen, that's what I'm going off. So I'm not expecting anything to happen during the daytime. I'm kind of expecting a bite sort of, you know, between it getting dark around 5 o'clock-ish through till about midnight. That was sort of the best bite time period when I was last here, and I have had a bite at first light before. So yes, in my solid bag, you know, it's my good old faithful pellet mix in there. I've got 2mm pellets, I've got the isolate 2mm, and I've also got a fast breakdown pellet. And if you watch my blogs before, you'll know what's in there already. They are heavily glugged in beta stim liquid. And also it's got the crumbed up LM94. Liver is an awesome additive this time of year. I mean, it's a good additive any time of the year, but certainly through the winter months, liver, I mean, I used to use liver powder before switching over to Shimano bait, and since using Shimano bait, the LM94, you know, I just carry on using that through the winter. Obviously I'm not piling boilies in, I'm crumbing it up, but it has the same effect as the liver powder that I did use previous to that. So yeah, I've got huge confidence in that bag mix. It's caught me a lot of fish through the colder months, and certainly this time of year, you know, solid bags are my favoured method, or big mesh sticks, and not fishing a lot of bait. I mean, I generally don't fish a lot of bait anyway unless it actually warrants it. It's been quite a long time really since I've been to a lake, you know, what really likes the bait and you can fill it in and have a really good session. Certainly last year, you know, on Swan I was doing very well fishing just small amounts of bait where people was piling it in, and they seem to be backing off of the pressure. And over the years, you know, I've seen that on quite a few lakes. And I have been doing quite well on not putting a lot of bait in, just fishing what you're confident in. Yes, and using what you know works. I mean, that's what I'm doing this session. I mean, I know yellow works really well in here. Last time I come and the time before that, all the bites come to yellow. In fact, there was the banana and pineapple that I had the bites on last time. I mean, I'm not going to roll a food bait out. I have got the LM94 with me as well. But for now, that is my starting point. Hopefully, you know, I'll have some more feedback for you later on. I should start to see a few fish show and that. If I don't start to see them show and not a lot is happening, i.e. a few liners, etc., then I'll be starting to worry. But for now, you know, it's a very good swim this. I feel very confident. And I think it's only a matter of time. So yes, I'm going to leave it there and we'll have a bit of a catch up later on when I've got something else to report. Well, good evening, and the light slipped away pretty quick, let me tell you. It doesn't seem like no time at all since I last spoke to you. But as predicted, just on darkness, I did see a couple of fish show. It's not as much activity as I'd like to have seen, or what I hoped for anyway, but at least I have seen a couple of fish show out there. And not only that, I did have a liner on my left hand rod. Now what I have done is I've moved that right hand rod to where I seen the fish show. Just had a quick feel out there with a bare lead first, just to make sure it's not thick weed or anything like that, and it's just a little bit of light silt. So yeah, solid bag over the top of that. I'm not going to put any free bait around it. Usually where you see one fish, there's normally more at this time of year. And I did recast the left hand rod just before it got dark, just so I've got a nice fresh bag sitting there. if I do need to recast that rod in the night, I've got a spotlight with me to make it, you know, so I can actually make a recast. It is a tricky cast in the night, trying to clip them branches on the way in. But I've got it all wrapped out precisely. It's a foot short of 9 wraps. As long as I stand in that same position, I've got a sky marker as well. We should be good. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can make something happen, and the next time I'll be speaking to you will be with some carp action. But if not, I shall be seeing you in the morning. Well, have I got an absolute gem to show you here. A beautiful looking common, and he's just gone £28 4 ounce. I am totally chuffed to bits with this fish. It's just gone 9 o'clock and I was fast asleep when this ripped off, and I awoke to an absolute one-toner. I reckon I must have gone to sleep about 8 o'clock and I was quite surprised when I looked at the time. Yeah, I was in a bit of a daze. I thought it was about midnight. So to get it early on, yeah, that's a positive. And it's the right hand rod that's gone, the one that was cast towards the showing fish. It was actually fishing at 12 wraps, that. Like I mentioned, I just had a quick feel out there just to see what I was fishing over. It's a little bit of silt, perfect for a solid bag over there. And this is our reward. Just wait till you see this fish. Oh, and there he is, look. Just check him out. Common perfection. Oh, he's got a bit of a battered mouth. He's really small. Bit of a deformity, that, probably from captures when he was smaller. Oh, but what a fish. He is lovely. Yeah, fell to the pineapple and banana. What an awesome fish. Oh. Ooh. And there's the other side. Oh, I hope this picture's doing it justice, because he is a banger. Oh, so close to that magical 30 as well. To be honest, when I first slipped him in the net, I knew he was close, but I am not unhappy with that at all. Totally made up. Very worth coming out for and getting freezing. Oh, anyway, I'm going to stop waffling. I'm running out of things to say. I'm going to get this bad boy slipped back and see if we can't make something else happen.
Life.
Well, good morning, and I'm pretty pleased to say that we've got another one. I had him a couple of hours ago. I had him at 5 o'clock this morning. I waited until it got light because it's not very long to wait. And he surprised me, this one. When I first slipped him in the net, I thought he was a double, but he's just gone £20 8 ounces. So I'm absolutely made up, as if that common wasn't enough. Well, this one is a nice scaly banger. And there he is, look. Just look at him for a little cracker. Oh, come to the right hand rod again. 12 wraps out, middle of the pond, and just a solid bag. Pineapple and banana doing the business yet again. Never fails, that, never fails. Oh, and there's the other side, look. Equally as nice on both sides. I'm absolutely chuffed to bits. Oh, thank you, baby. Mwah. Let's slip him back and see if we can't make something else happen. We'll have a catch up in a bit. Well, we're just gone dinner time now, and what a glorious morning it was today. After that cold night last night, when that sun come through this morning, it was absolutely beautiful. Yeah, you could really feel the warmth from it. Even though it hasn't, you know, risen that much, I certainly could feel it. I was absolutely freezing after returning that fish this morning. My hands was throbbing, and I mean throbbing. But, you know, it's been a positive session, and hopefully, you know, we can nick another bite before we go home. One of them 30s that's in here, that'd be the cherry on the cake. But, you know, my left hand rod, that's the rod that I had the most confidence in. It didn't do a thing last night. I had a liner on it just coming into darkness, but then that was it. So it was good that I paid attention, seeing that fish show, because that did me 2 bites, casting to them showing fish. And like I say, I've got that spot marked out now. It's 12 wraps and 2 foot, that's the actual distance. And I've got a skyline marker. It's a silty spot, but I'm going to stick to that spot. I may possibly move that left hand rod yet. Yeah, and just not feeling it. Usually that's the hot rod, but it isn't to be on this session. But we'll assess the situation. I'm not going to make any rash decisions yet. I mean, if I cast my mind back to February when I was last in this swim, the first night I actually had a bite out in open water, but I lost that fish. And then on the second night I had 2 fish off of that margin spot, that overhanging tree. So, you know, it was very similar to this session, although, you know, I've had a couple of bites in open water, but they could turn up at that tree spot at any time. You just never know. And the pressure around the lake's changed. I was the only one fishing last night. The day anglers all went yesterday, but opposite me now there's another 2 guys that's dropped in, and they're stopping for the night, so it has changed the line pressure. So I'm not sure how that's going to affect things, but one thing's for sure, them fish definitely like to be in this area. And they've not put a lot of bait in, so, you know, it's still positive. I tell you, it is really strange though how everything happens at night here. I mean, I've said this before, I'm sure that changes as it warms up, but certainly at this time of year you see nothing in the daytime at all. And as soon as that light starts to drop, even the little fish start to top, the little roach and things like that. And then the odd carp starts to show. And even last night, between catching the fish and waking up and stuff, I could hear the odd fish show. I reckon I must have counted at least 5 or 6 shows whilst I was awake last night. I'm feeling pretty tired today. I spent quite a lot of time awake last night. Oh, when you're cold like that, oh, when you get back in your bag, it takes a while to get warmed up. Thank God I've got a good sleeping bag. I've got a Fox Ventec, and my God, I've had that for about 6 years, this bag, and it has probably been the best purchase I've ever made. It is so warm. Highly recommend that if anybody is looking for a good sleeping bag. Anyway, I'm waffling on now. I don't want to make the video too long, so we'll have a bit of a catch up later on. Well, good evening. Bit of an update before I turn in. It's just gone 7 o'clock now. It's not as cold tonight, which is a bonus. I've just been sitting here getting everything prepped up ready. I've got a few solid bags made up and I've had my tea. So all is looking good and we are ready for any carp action. Not a lot has happened out there today. I did have to recast the left down rod because a coot picked me up, but other than that everything's remained the same. When I did recast that rod though, I switched it over to a pink, so that's the only change I have made. I've stuck to the margin spot. You know, I'd be kicking myself if I woke up in the morning and nothing's happened if I'd moved it. So you know, it's a banker spot, it's a well-known spot. So you know, I've just got to keep one on there, and I'm still fishing the same spot where I had the 2 bites last night. Condition wise, it's looking pretty good. I mean, it's a bit warmer tonight, sort of lows of around 4 and 5. Air pressure's up a little bit. It's hovering around 1,008 at the moment. You know, plenty of cloud cover. I know that doesn't mean a lot in the night, but it does help things in my opinion. It's going to be overcast in the morning as well, so you never know, there might be a chance of an early morning bite. I've not seen a lot out there though. I mean, by this time last night I'd seen 2 or 3 fish show. And tonight's a different story, but I believe that's because of the angling pressure. I was the only one on here last night, and one of the lads opposite me decided to make quite a few casts on dark. Not a lot, probably about 6 or 7 casts, but that's enough on a water like this, a small intimate water. You know, he's been sitting there all day and then decides to do that on dark. It's beyond me sometimes, but it is what it is. That's day ticket fishing. Hopefully, you know, the fish are still in the area, they're just not showing themselves. Only time will tell. So yes, I'm going to leave it there and we'll have a bit of a catch up when something carpy happens. But if not, I'll still see you in the morning. Well, good morning, and I'm very pleased to say we've got one this morning. It was a really quiet night. I didn't even receive any liners. It just goes to show what a little bit of angling pressure does to a lake. But yeah, first light this morning, I set my alarm for 7 o'clock. I woke to a flat, calm lake. To be honest, it wasn't looking good. The only plus side is it's overcast and quite mild. So I was really shocked when this one just ripped off. I'm absolutely pleased as punch. The smallest of the session, but very welcome. 16 pound 2 is just gone, so let's get him up. And here he is, look. They don't all have to be massive, it's just getting bites this time of year that counts. And this one come to a pink pop up this time. So yes, ringing the changes, you know, trying to make it happen, and he come from the margin spot, so I'm really pleased about that, because I was considering pulling off of that spot, and I'm really glad I didn't now. And there's the other side. Oh, made my trip that. I've not got long left. I've got to have a speedy pack down this morning. I've been summoned from the wife. One of the kids is ill and she needs to get to work. So yes, if you don't hear from me again, I will leave it here, but I will try and have a little bit of a catch up as I'm packing down. Well, I am running late now and I've got to be super quick, but I couldn't just leave it there. I had to speak to you before I went, and in particular I just wanted to show you the rigs that I've been using on this session. As I mentioned before, I've been fishing solid bags, and in them solid bags I've just been using a 3-ounce inline lead. I've got some unleaded leader, probably about a foot of that, not big, it just makes it easier doing the loop-to-loop method. And then the business end. On this one, because I've got a pink 15mm pop-up, I'm actually fishing that with a cord a size 6 wide gape, and it's just a BB shot that's pinched on there, and that material is the PB Products silk wire, and there's about 4 inches of that. If I can get that to focus in, that's it, you can get it. Very, very simple. Now if these pop-ups were straight out the tub, so to speak, that BB shot wouldn't be enough to hold it down, but I've got mine heavily glugged in some corded goo, so it actually makes them less buoyant, so that BB shot is just right for a 15mm pop-up. And then exactly the same presentation on the other one. The only difference with this rig is I've got a Nash claw on there, which is a size 7. It's slightly smaller and it's a lot sharper than them quarter wide gapes, but you know, fishing a smaller pop-up, I just wanted a little bit of a finer presentation, and that's what's done with the bites. I've had 2 on the yellow and 1 on the pink. So one last thing before I go, if you're watching this and think, oh, I could do with stocking up on some PVA and having a bit of that myself, Castaway PVA are still offering my viewers a discount. There's a 25% discount on offer for anything you order from their website, and that's available. It's in the description, the link's there for the website, and the code will be there as well. The code is viewer25 with a capital V. So yes, get yourself on the website, fill your basket with whatever goodies you want, and then before you check out, put that code in. So I guess there's nothing else left for me to say apart from thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.